Um, this was custom done for me, and this isn't something they normally carry. Um, I guess pretty much what we're going to start off with is the actual appearance of the sword itself. I have this stand. It's not the greatest stand in the world, but this is the stand that it came with. The saya is it's a stone pebble finish, and I know it's going to be hard to see in the light here, but it's a matte stone pebble finish. We have red sago, and it is capped on the end with buffalo horn, and it's also, and I really don't know the proper Japanese term for it, but we do have buffalo horn in here as well, where the sago ties in at. All of it's very well done. The Tuska is around your regular katana size. This one's about 10 to 10 and a half long. Underneath here we have black dyed same, or same, however it's pronounced, I'm not really sure. And I had this sword custom done for me for my Chinese astrology sign, which is the fire dragon. So I went with this red Ito wrap and matching red sago. And the video is kind of hard to see, but it's not really a bright red, it's more of a fiery red. As far as the fitting goes, the end cap, now somebody on the sword forum just told me the proper term for this and I can't even think now, and I know it's going to be hard to see in this light, and I got to apologize for the bad lighting on this, but the actual theme on the end of this is actually a coiling dragon holding a ball of fire in his hand. And I believe that the pronunciation of this is a muki. The ornaments underneath the Ito wrap are coiling dragons as well. And they're both placed the right place. There's one at the bottom on the one side, and if we come around to the top on the other side, there's one at the top. The Tuska is held on, or Tuska, is held on with 2 wintered bamboo pegs. I did take the handle off. There was no cracked Tuska core, and it was very, very well fitted to the blade itself, or the tang. Very well, almost precisely done. I have absolutely no complaints whatsoever. The actual tsuba of the sword, and again, I gotta apologize for the poor video quality and also the lighting, but as well, it's a dragon coiling around holding a ball of fire in his hand, and the collar here, and I know it's going to be hard to see, but the collar has the exact same theme. There's a dragon coiling around holding a ball of fire in his hand. It's very, very well done. Very, very solid sword. And for some of the people out there that had seen my review on the Oniyuri by Chinese Cutlery, this is my better design as far as a sword would go to be used for ninjutsu, or those who are members of the Bujinkan Federation. This is a much better design and much, much more practical to use than the Oniyuri. Again, I don't think the Oniyuri is a bad sword, but this is a much, much better design, and everything really about this sword, quality-wise, is 100 times better, in my opinion, than the Oniyuri. So let's take it out of the saya and take a closer inspection of the blade and what you actually get here. Okay, so here is the actual blade of the Fire Dragon Kokatana, or maybe Kokatana-like. I'd say in its specs it's a little bit different than a Kokatana. It's a solid body blade, and it's made out of 1095 high carbon steel. It's clay tempered and differentially hardened. Everything on this fits together very well. The level of polish, and actually you can see it in my recording here, is actually reflecting the camera. The level of polish on this was something a little extra I had done. The level of polish is very, very, very high done. I believe the end tip here is called the Yokoti, And it does actually have a real geometrical change from the tip to the rest of the blade. It's not a counter polish, but it actually has a real geometrical change in it. The sword itself is very, very light in the hand. Now, I don't know if you can be able to see this or not, but the Harman on this is very unique. Now you can kind of see a little bit of it here, but it's almost like the sword is billowing out smoke, and it kind of gets very wavy right here. And the further down the sword you get, the more that wave starts to just level out, and it actually levels out the whole way to the tip of the blade. And again, I know it's very difficult to see in these lighting conditions that I have here, but you can kind of see here, maybe if I get a different angle on it. But yes, you can kind of see a little bit. It billows out, and as it goes down the edge of the blade, it levels out. So it's almost like the sword is like billowing out smoke. As I said previously on the tip here, this is a real geometrical change on here. This is not a counter polish, but this actually is a real geometrical change, and I believe that's called the Yokoti. The moon, I believe it's pronounced, on the back of the blade is arch-topped, and I don't know the proper Japanese terminology for this, so I'm going to say that's arch-topped because it comes up like a rooftop on the top. It's very, very well done. There's no flaws in this whatsoever, and like I said, this is a custom piece that I had done, and from my understanding, this is the only one like this in existence. Is this particular one that I had done. I had put in the specs for this, and had talked a lot with Mr. David Fox, who's the owner of Destiny Blades, and we had several talks before the sword was done. So pretty much all this is to spec to my likes. In my opinion, this is the better alternative to the Oniyuri. If you guys get a chance, you should really check out Destiny Blade. It's destinyblade.com. Mr. David Fox is a very good businessman. He has a very good line of swords, kokatanas, full-size katanas, and tantos. All of them are very, very nice. The customer service is excellent, and he's more than willing to work with you if you have a problem. I had no problem. This sword is beautiful. Before we had the snow, now I'm in Pennsylvania, and we had 20 to 30 some odd inches of snow, but before the snow actually came, I went out and cut roughly around 20 water bottles with this thing, and it cuts like a lightsaber. The cuts are very clean. It's very, very sharp. The level of sharpness on this, I would say, is comparable to the sharpness that some of the Hanwei swords have. I wouldn't even want to touch or even rub my finger along the blade because it would probably cut me open. Price line on this is going to be a little bit different than the regular pricings on the Destiny Blade page, only because I had this custom done. Like I said, this, in my opinion, is the better alternative. Very beautifully done blade. It's very light in the hands. It's solid bodied. The level of polish is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable level of polish compared to other swords I own, other swords that I've handled. The real geometrical change in the Yokoti is definitely a bonus. The level of polish, the sharpness, the quality of the fittings, the sturdiness overall of the sword, and the balance of it, for me, is perfect.